You guys, last month here in Orange County, California, the median home price crossed over $1 million. That's the first time that a Southern California county has crossed over that $1 million mark. Hey guys, it's the Buy Sell Love SoCal team here with the latest news headlines for real estate that we keep up with so that you don't have to. We took a little bit of a spring break last week,
yes.
but we're back.
Where did you go?
On a cruise.
To where?
Oh, Belize, Bimini, Cozumel, and Cayman Islands.
Oh, I
What
didn't
a
even know that.
honeymoon.
That's
What a
awesome.
honeymoon.
We didn't talk to her the whole time because she was on a ship. So.
Good.
And where were you?
I was in Hawaii.
Oh.
Okay. And where, like, what part of Hawaii?
We went to Oahu this year. We went to Maui last year, and we were in Waikiki this year.
Very cool.
It was fun.
And I was in Kansas City, Missouri, which was pretty cool.
Little
The weather.
different than-
Fun fact: the weather is bipolar out there, so it can rain without clouds. It's
Weird.
cool. Yeah.
And was it hot? And then it rained?
Yeah. So like one day it
Humid?
was like 84, 85, and then the next day we woke up and it was in the 40s.
Okay.
All very different trips.
Yeah. Very different.
Well, welcome back, guys.
All right. Well, thanks for letting us take a break last week. So, like I was saying in the intro, the prices continue to go up. The median home price across the 6-county Southern California region rose 16.7 in March from a year earlier.
Year over year.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And like I said, I mean, the Orange County area is the first Southern California county to top the $1 million mark.
That's
For
wild.
the average
Because
home price.
remember back in the peak of 2008, it was like in the 500,000 to 600,000. I don't remember the exact number, but that's pretty impressive that we've still come up because back then people thought that was the ceiling.
Yep.
Right.
And so we are seeing cooling demand. You are starting to see some price reductions, but not what Redfin was saying was that it's more on homes that were probably priced too high to
Right.
begin
Right.
with.
Like we
And-
just talked about earlier.
Right. Sellers trying
Your
to get ahead.
friends that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wanted to price it entirely too high, so we didn't take the listing. That's the
And then
one.
they priced 300,000 over.
we'll see how
But
it goes.
hey,
So that is the key right now is when you do want to list, you cannot price it ahead because you will. Buyers are savvy and they don't want to play
so
those
that's
types
one
of
we'll
games.
see a price reduction on, but
it
it's
will.
necessary.
Because it was priced ahead from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but that cooling demand is not translating to a market like crash or anything. It's just you're seeing those homes that are priced too high having to be corrected where we weren't necessarily seeing that
Yeah,
this time last
Right.
year. So.
Right.
So, you know what's funny is on my cruise, and I'm having a total flashback right now. On the cruise, somebody actually mentioned to me when they found out in real estate, they're like, is it true that in Orange County, the average price, because we went to dinner with another couple, is $1 million? So it's so funny that,
Wow.
You're like, yep.
it's
Words getting out.
It's newsworthy.
Yeah.
But speaking of deceleration versus price reductions, a couple weeks ago, so this article is a couple weeks, but we didn't meet last week. So according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, they just put this out. They did a study. They still predict that the U.S. existing home prices to rise 4.8% in 2022. So that is a deceleration
normal, but it's a
from our
normal market.
18%, but that is still more normal market.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that coming out amidst the rising interest rates.
Right.
So yes, we are going to see price reductions, but again, I think that, I mean, maybe that's just our market, maybe your market is different, and there are, but in our market, I feel that it's price reductions that are happening on properties that needed them in the first place.
You know what question I've been getting a lot is where do you think people will feel the rate is too high? I wonder, that's like a good question, right? Like what's the number? What's the mental number for people? Is it a 7? Is it a 6? What is that where people will be like, that's too high? Like where does that stop? You know, I wonder.
I think that people need to do the math on the affordability because at the end of the day, like obviously it's all an equation that gets you to what your monthly payment is going to be, but the monthly payment is what matters, right?
Right.
And rent keeps going up. So
Right.
if at the end of the day, I don't care if the interest rate is 8%. I mean, I don't love it, right? But if the interest rate is 8%, but your monthly payment on something is still going to be reasonable compared to your rent, that's the part that matters.
I guess that's more important, exactly.
So-
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, one thing I would like to get your guys' opinions on in all of this, the Mortgage Bankers Association, the average median price still increasing, but an online mortgage banker, Better.com, has had their third mass layoff in 5 months.
Okay, well,
How do you guys feel about that?
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when the buyer comes to you and you say, who is your lender? And they say,
they're like, Rocket
Rocket
Mortgage."
Mortgage.
Let me get you in touch with somebody else, please.
You're like, well,
Or not when you're buyer, when you're on the listing side and you're getting the
And then you
offers that
can't-
come in
and you try to vet it, and you can't get a hold of Rocket Mortgage.
if I'm walking my sellers through equal offers, and one of them is with a local mortgage lender who I was able to have a good quality conversation with, and the other one is with Better or Rocket or whoever it is, which one do you think I'm going to be recommending?
This is still a people
Absolutely.
business, and this is an emotional business, and so we need to make emotional people connections.
And I mean, we need people who can get stuff done, and it's way harder in a bureaucracy where you've got these
Red
layoffs
tape.
going on and the red tape and 20 people involved in a transaction. Let me talk to my boss's boss's boss.
It's accountability. To me, I tell my clients, like, I want people like our painter. There's accountability. I could text him. He
Yeah.
answers his phone. Because recently I just had to find a vendor for a client, and like I was calling all these big companies, and it's only during office hours, and da 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 and da da. And I found this guy that was literally a mom and pop business. It was after hours. He still called me back. I could
That's
text
what it's all
him.
about.
They say
It's accountability.
One throat to choke. It's like one person who you have
Yes.
to go to if things are
Yes.
going wrong and that you can count on to get it
Yes.
Absolutely,
done, right?
and that's
So-
huge. So, I mean, I just want to point out before we let this topic go, because we've been talking about interest rates and all of that for long enough. They are just citing a decline in mortgage apps, and I know I've read that it's refinances are slowing down because of the interest rates. Everyone has prettier interest rates now, so it doesn't talk about particularly home purchase apps slowing down, just in general. Which, when you generalize, people get scared, but I think it just has to do with refinancing.
I think it's the
in
general
my
theme
opinion.
of mortgage lenders and real estate people right now is only the strong are going to survive.
Oh, absolutely. As we
So-
get into this market, it's true.
Yeah. So I had an interesting conversation on the plane with a gentleman that actually lives in Texas. And so a lot of people, as you know, are migrating out of California to Idaho and Nevada and Arizona and Texas. And he made a comment about his taxes going up. And so there was actually...
Property taxes are really high. in
Yes. So the property taxes
Texas.
are actually assessed. So it was on...
It was a Housing Wire article about a property tax reckoning coming. This is 2 days ago.
Okay. So...
We don't have to worry about that here.
Right. So this is something you have to keep in mind about California. On the general, our taxes are about, in Southern California,
property
about
taxes.
a percent. Yeah, our property taxes are about a percent, maybe 1.05, 1.1, 1.2, right?
They're one of the lowest in the nation as
They
far
are.
as...
And on the yearly basis, they're not consistently rising. Your property is not being reassessed as to the market. The only time it gets reassessed, and I'm speaking a little general right here because obviously situations can differ, but only usually when you sell your house do you get reassessed.
Or I think if you put in a big project for a remodel.
Right, and then it goes to
you,
permits, and you're going to get
permits
reassessed.
and you
Like,
increase square footage
There
or
you
something.
go. Like
right.
you notify the county on those, guess what? They're
Sure.
going to reassess.
Yeah.
So he was telling me that his house in Texas, just a regular old house, actually went from $3,000 a year to $9,000 a year, or was it 12? One of the two. But
because
anyways,
the market value of the home.
because the market
increased.
value. So the assessor increased it just based on the market value because Texas real estate is becoming more expensive.
No way.
Yes,
Can
and
you
so that's
imagine?
not something that he was prepared for or knows like he may have to sell. I don't know. However, he's found a loophole, and this is just fun fodder. If you keep a cow on your property in this part of Texas, it's $7 a year only for taxes. So if you're thinking about going to Texas, think about getting a cow.
And for all of you who are considering migrating out of California because the affordability, you've got to factor all these things in.
Research
People
the
don't
taxes.
think about
Research the
things like
taxes.
the taxes. It really can end up being a deal breaker.
Because if it's $12,000 a year, that's $1,000 a month. I know that's simple math, but honestly, that's a lot of money.
as far as your payment, if you left because you could get a home for $1,000 cheaper, and now,
Right.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And property taxes are confusing because I know Jimmy moving to North Dakota, purchasing a house there. Their tax lingo in there, it was like it might as well have been in a foreign language. He keeps sending it to me, and I'm like, I don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah.
There's all these so what you buy your house new, there's 1 year of taxes, and then it goes up based off some special assessment, based off something else, but you could file for exemption based off something else. It's literally a foreign language, and you need a law degree in order to interpret it.
And we do
And
have
his property
those.
taxes are more than mine.
But ours are easy to understand. Our special assessments are very easy, cut and dry. There's a phone number. How long is this good for? It's very
and yeah,
easy.
it says vector control
Yes.
and
You
schools
know exactly what it's
and
for.
the California fire and all that. Like, it's listed. This, I was like, I don't even know. I'm so sorry. I don't even, I
So-
can't advise.
I guess this is like, while we support your decision to
Oh, absolutely.
migrate out of the state,
Has to be what's best for your
Research
family.
understand that the grass maybe not always greener. I don't know. It's just research.
So one of the
research,
things that
research.
affects affordability is not only interest rates, it's property taxes.
Who would someone turn to in another state if they're going to be buying a house and they needed to research all this? Probably a local realtor that we could recommend, right?
Oh, it's true. And you know what? Let me just say, this is something that I don't think people always give enough attention to to even here, because you have those special assessment areas. We always bring this up, but
Oh,
not
yeah.
all realtors do that. They don't all point out Melrose and make sure that you understand that if you're buying in this area of Temecula, your property tax is going to be closer to 2% and what that does for your affordability. So work with a professional who knows to look
Absolutely.
into these things, right?
Absolutely.
Whether that's
Yes.
us or somebody that we recommend in another state.
Right,
So,
right.
Absolutely.
what else, guys? We got to remind that the YouTube contest is ending.
Oh my goodness,
if
yes,
you are
3 days.
If you are still watching this video at the 10-minute and 45-second mark, then you deserve that $100 gift card to Amazon. So
Just
hit
hit subscribe. And every single person that is a subscriber gets entered. I'm going to say family excluded because I know my 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah, if I draw like my
Yeah.
dad, sorry, I'm not going to give you the Amazon card.
I'm excluding family.
Cool. All right. Well,
That's
thanks
it.
for watching.
We'll see you next week.